And we're live. Folks, welcome, everyone. It's V the Grill Economist. And you know what? It's all about health and it's all about wealth. And health, you can't have wealth without health, my friends, because a wise man once told me, what's the point of having $1 million in the bank when you have a $200 body? And in terms of bodies, well, I got the holistic gangster himself, the man whose philosophy and his system is so damn effective. It's literally transforming people's lives. People that have been through the protocol that Chris Bohlin has developed, they've revolutionized their health. They've revolutionized their mind, their well-being, and overall brought balance to a very chaotic world that they're living in. And I'm so thankful to have Chris on. Chris, what's up, buddy? How are you?
V, how are you, my friend? Good to
I'm
be
doing
with you.
awesome. I'm doing awesome, bro. I owe it to you to get down there to meet up with you and have you put me through the entire protocol session. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's I mean, I see you working with your clients on your social media, and the results that people are getting is just it's so incredible, man. And it's like, dude, it's like you're not telling people to do 3 sets of 10. you know, you're not telling people that hey, today's arm day, tomorrow's chest day. You're not. It's not International Chest Day, which is every Monday. You're not doing any of that nonsense,
Right.
bro. You're holistically transforming people from the inside out, Chris. Could you touch base on that for people who might be joining us for the first time?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, a couple of things come to mind as we're talking, especially when it comes to the old way of training,
Yeah.
which was chest and buys on Monday, back and tries on Tuesday, shoulders, legs, and even core or abs on Wednesday, and then you repeat the cycle.
Hey,
And
Chris, could you speak into the mic a little bit, man?
sure.
We're a little low.
So,
Okay.
is that better?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. I'm having some
Okay.
audio issues. I apologize, man. The streaming has been a bit of a nightmare ever since YouTube changed things around. It's been a nightmare. But
Okay,
go
I'm
ahead.
just going to speak really loud.
That's it, bro. Yell. Go for it.
Okay, awesome. So, it brings me back 20, 30 years where that was my approach. And, we were joking around and you mentioned, doing 3 sets of 10 reps, and we kind of chuckled. And it's just such a foreign concept to me that I don't identify with it. I have a whole new mindset behind my training. And then you mentioned how I invented the protocol, or you mentioned that I have this revolutionary, holistic style of training, which I believe it is. But I did not invent it. I discovered it. And what I discovered was just an innate wisdom, just a very basic, instinctive understanding of how the body moves and how the body operates. So if I run somebody through a first session, that we first teach them how to listen to their body and what that means. So if I say, V, how do you feel? You might say to me, I feel great. And then I might say, well, there's nothing wrong with feeling great, is there? But how do we maintain that sense of well-being, of feeling great, or that quality of life of feeling great, that mindset? How do we maintain it and how do we add to it? But what I also might do is say, V, why don't you look into that a little bit closer? And you might, because I'll get a client for the first time and I'll say, how do you feel? And they say, I feel great. And I'll say, why don't you look into that a little bit closer? And they'll say something like, well, my back is always acting up. You see, it was that simple little question that simple little follow-up, because we're not accustomed to being in touch with our body or providing feedback based on how we truly feel, how we feel physically, how we feel structurally, how we feel mechanically. So that is where we first start. And then we start to uncover how they really feel on a deeper level. And that's how I start to guide them and encourage them to move in a way that feels comfortable, move in a way that feels right, move in a way that is obviously instinctive, which is just a fancy word for moving based on how you feel, and it's natural, and other words that we could use to describe it. It's organic. So that's the initial step of getting people in touch with their body, because we all have personal nuances that need to be treated, and we need to have a workout that's tailored and customized to those nuances.
Absolutely right, and I think one size does not fit all. Nobody goes for one size fit all when it comes to anything personal. When it goes to, let's just say, somebody's financial goals, what their needs are. Nobody goes for one size fits all when it comes to if they have a specific diet that they need to follow because they have an ailment or something's out of whack. And it amazes me that people think that one size fits all when it comes to fitness, not realizing that what you said, Chris, is so profound, that this is something that's innate. And I'm glad that you said that you didn't invent the protocol, you discovered it. It's almost as if you've become an apostle to some deep-seated universal truths that were innate and within humanity itself, waiting for it to be unearthed, waiting for somebody to put it all together, waiting for somebody to parse the right words and to create the modality from which the system of flow is able to permeate. Man, I'm truly blown away by that. Chris, we have a lot of ailments today in life. Americans are some of the most overprescribed people out there. What have you seen with working with some of your clients? Some of the successes that you've encountered while dealing with some of the challenges that people face on a day to day?
Well, mainly we deal with a myriad of issues, right? I think it's really important, V, because one of the biggest problems is that we don't know what the problem is. If you cannot identify the problem, how could you possibly fix it? So the problem is twofold. The problem comes from the modern world. Now, what does that mean? The modern lifestyle, the modern environment, the modern landscape, the modern mindset, the modern training, the modern sport, the modern technology. Literally, everything that we do from A to B, mentally and physically, suppresses our nature. And so our body is desperately trying to defend itself. It's desperately trying to heal itself. It's desperately trying to maintain some semblance of homeostasis. But because we are at the whim of this environment and all of these unnatural elements, problems start to befall us. We start to collect tension, we start to collect stress, and we start to collect pressure in all the wrong areas. So tension is not bad. Stress is not bad. It's a matter of how we collect it and how we hoard it. And the idea is that tension produces force. Tension protects us. Stress gives your body a reason to be strong, but it always carries a negative connotation. And it's always a very blanketed term that we use when it comes to our necks bothering us, which is generally very common, or our backs bothering us. I mean, come on, how many people have back pain? How many people have neck pain? How many people have carpal tunnel syndrome? How many people, V, in their 40s are, and forget about the 50s, in their 40s are getting their hips replaced? So I do believe, listen, the word instinctive means feel. The word innate means natural. Did Einstein and Da Vinci read things out of a book, or did they discover and imagine and envision and kind of piece it together for themselves? Or did they contrive it? Or did they try to invent it? Or did they try to regurgitate someone else's experience or knowledge? We need to start to interpret things naturally, organically for ourselves. Sorry, B.
Hey, no worries.
So
Thought I
the
lost you.
protocol gives us all a chance to figure things out based on universal truths, like you said, because what's a universal truth? A universal truth is that if you throw a ball up in the air, it's going to come down. That's an immutable law. It's not up for debate. If something goes up, it's going to come down. Well, I don't want to argue about the earth is flat or round. I don't want to argue about Tesla's version of gravity versus magnetic poles. I just want to control what is available to me in the here and the now, physically and otherwise. And so when people come to me with a problem, the first step, whether it's a back or a shoulder or a knee or a hip, is to teach them the exact nature, whether they had an accident, like a car accident, or they tripped off a curb, or it's just been years and years of cumulative stress that they've collected, that finally the straw broke the camel's back and they were just maybe wiping their ass, or pouring coffee, or maybe they had a sport injury. Whatever the case may be, some you can prevent, and some you obviously cannot prevent. But the modern world and all of the unnatural elements have set us up for failure. They've handicapped us so that we are not equipped intrinsically. And the word intrinsic just means deep and purposeful. It just means that we are restored and fortified. And again, words like restored, words like fortified, words like integrated, words like alignment. It's important to understand this in the purest sense so that we can start to compile degrees, micro degrees, simple, subtle little shifts that gradually bring us back into alignment so that we can throw more caution to the wind, have more room for error, not be such a ticking time bomb, and that we can be more resilient and more fortified when it comes to preventing accidents, injuries, the stuff that we can prevent, the stuff that we can control. So I guide them and to listen to their body. So the beauty of this is that listening to your body is contrite. It's a theory. It's a fashion phrase. Ooh, listen to your body. And thank God people are actually starting to do it. But what happens, V, is that people are listening to their body and it's just too loosely based, and it's not steeped in enough method or reality to have the perfect balance of method and madness, or routine to routineless. The protocol that I discovered innately in my sensitive and unique nature from birth with my crooked legs, that corrected to a degree but still did not um, correct me enough to live a normal life. So I was forced. The mother of invention is necessity, and I was forced to go within and channel some conspiring idea by the universe in my body, and it allowed me to piece together a very practical approach to move away from pain and discomfort, and the absence of pain and discomfort. You see, it's addition by subtraction. It's not a daily increase, it's a daily decrease. And Bruce Lee said it best: chip away at the inessentials. So I have just liberated what blocks me off from myself. And so when I guide people, I say, okay, if you have a bad back, if you feel any pain, what you have to understand is that treating imbalances, it takes time, and it's like I'm looking out for you over the span of 30 years, so that these results that we can amass, we amass them in perpetuity. I'm I'm talking about something that is a far-fetched ideal, but it's steeped in reality so that you can establish relief in the exact moment you're trying to establish it, and then use it as a building block of permanent change. But you take 2 steps forward, maybe 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then you set in motion a positive trend of higher highs and higher lows. So that I tell people, listen, forget about the six pack, forget about pumping up your pecs. If you come to me with any pain or any discomfort or any history of an issue that I get you to detect, and I allow you to look closely. Oh, I went for a run this morning. My feet were killing me. Oh, my knee is a little twingy. From time to time, my back acts up. I feel stiff. Oh, or V, what if they're feeling anxious? What if they're feeling nauseous? What if they're feeling bottled up? We have to figure out a way to open people up, and that's what the protocol does. So I get them to understand that the disease and the addiction of the modern mindset is instant gratification. It doesn't exist. So the protocol is a system encapsulated by virtue and wisdom, that if you surrender to your body and allow me to guide you, your body will show you things that a book, a doctor, a science, a study, nothing can show you. It's just a simple moving and maneuvering and navigating. And it's a feel and it's a touch. And I guide you so that the left and the right and the front and the back and the top and the bottom all come together, so that your pain just falls by the wayside. But it's not overnight. It's not a straight line. We must connect the dots, but I will guarantee instant relief in the session and then continuous relief over time. And that's how I attract people, because I'm speaking to their instincts and their intellect and their emotions. And then once they do it a little bit, most people start to come back and get more relief, and they start to set in motion a very logical and sensical approach to feeding and rewiring how they go about their business, and polish their mechanics and polish their spirit physically, so that the brand of protocol is to polish the brand of the human body. And so if V, you whoever you are, when you do the protocol, it's going to make you a better V. It's going to make me a better CEO at this company. I train this gentleman who's got 5 black belts in jiu-jitsu, and he was breaking down. And now, after 2 years of doing the protocol, he's never been stronger, never looked. We want to look
Wow.
healthy. We want to feel healthy and be confident that something's not going to go wrong. We want to have a body that's reliable and doesn't break down forever. And so this guy's business is taking off. We got to align ourselves and have patience and attract good things that come from this very pure sense of how you start to carry yourself over time. And that's a gist of it. And then many things come from it. You can do bench presses if you so choose, but we first have to master the basics and establish a foundation, a practice, a lifestyle that's steeped in this very basic wisdom of allowing the protocol system to guide you and teach you how to get deeper and deeper in touch with your body.
Very well said, man. Very well said. Now, Chris, you've worked with professional athletes. You work with
V?
guys. Yeah. Hello. Could you hear me? Could you hear me?
So
Hello.
I don't know if I lost you, but
No, we
so
can hear
that
you.
is how I introduce people on in on a first time session, and we generally give them an introduction, and we show them that getting in touch with their body is simple, and it's all based on how they feel. And then we start to guide them and introduce as a point of reference the 4 fundamental positions of the protocol. The 4 fundamental positions of the protocol are a point of reference, and it's just a seed that we want to plant in the back of their head so that over time they can find themselves in one of these four positions, or at least a variation thereof. And then as they interact with these four positions, as they interact with listening to their body, a beautiful sequence of stretching, motions, and position after position they find themselves in. They make the proper adjustments to treat their own individual nuances, which from person to person is different. That's why the protocol is so powerful when it comes to, again, a customized and individual approach to physical expression and how that expression sets in motion a correction in people's alignment. It is a subtle and gradual process, but it becomes permanent and more powerful, and you can add to it. And it's leading us to a life, it's leading us to a sense of well being, it's leading us to redefining what integrity is really all about so that we can have an idea of what it's like to carry ourselves with a confidence that we are not just going to twist our ankle or even amass a certain amount of health that will prevent things like high blood pressure or even um, congested heart failure. We don't claim, but we would like to think that if we continue to support the body in this basic idea, that we will be able to prevent, and that's very powerful, to prevent problems from arising down the road. And this is a process that can help redefine health, wellness, mind, body, and restoration. So I'm really glad to have this platform. And I just wanted to thank V very much for always allowing me to showcase the protocol, to display the experience and the logic behind the science of protocol, the art of protocol, the technology of protocol, because being brought to a place where you're in control of your own destiny and fate, at least on a physical level, whatever there is that we can control, wouldn't it be nice if we had control of it? So it's important because a lot of times there are many things that we don't have control of, but there is an equal amount of things in life that we do have control of. So it's very important that we take advantage and we become aware of what we have control of. And so that's where I am very happy to share with anybody who is willing to open themselves up to this idea and redefine their approach when it comes to exercise, fitness, working out, and a lifestyle that equips them with the mindset and the tools to understand how to help heal and treat and give therapy on a hour to hour basis, depending on the circumstance, the situation, how they feel. And remember, the mechanics of your body are precious and they really require a lot of treatment, a lot of respect, a lot of appreciation. We need to honor our body and we need to value it in a way where we nurture it with the right mindset rather than thinking that more is better, rather than thinking that there's a quick fix behind it. And so I'm really glad to roll out the protocol and teach people to listen to their body and move based on how they feel and allow them to explore and discover and create a whole new way of movement that pertains to them as an individual and not anybody else's ideas will come in the way or come in place of that. Your innate wisdom is the physical consciousness and voice that you have if you just give it a chance. So V, I just wanted to thank you again, and look forward to speaking to you again soon and your audience. Protocol, Chris Bohlin, much love and God bless. You can find us at Protocol Fitness, Instagram at Protocol Fitness, and if you'd like to check out the website, it's protocol hyphen, which is a dash, fitness.com. And my phone number, if you're interested in calling me, and I'm happy to take phone calls, is 646-204-7979. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you. Chris, can you hear me? Folks, that was Chris Bohlin. Thank you all for listening in, and he will be back. Thank you so much, folks.